Welcome to Death and Aliens, an in-depth look at horror and sci-fi TV from two friends who vaguely know what they're doing. I'm Courtney,
I'm MK.
and how are you?
Oh fuck, I gotta talk first.
I know, I'm so excited because I can't function right now.
I'm okay. Um, what the hell have I done in the last week? Not a lot of anything really. Well, no, it's been 2 weeks since we recorded because you were away. What have I done in the last 2 weeks? I'm literally about to pull up my calendar and just like look at what I've even done because I don't know what I've done. Let's see. Yeah, nothing. Nothing useful. Why does it? Oh, because I just didn't delete the event. I was like, why did that say we recorded last week? We didn't.
It's a liar.
Yeah. No, I had a nice Halloween. A lot of kids came to my house. There was some very, very
Oh,
cute
I didn't think about that. That was
costumes.
your first Halloween at home.
No, last year we bought the house at the end of
Oh,
September, so
okay. Okay.
we weren't like fully living or set up, but
Right.
we did do trick-or-treaters.
Right.
So it was cute. But I carved my first pumpkin ever.
Um,
Um,
ever?
ever.
I've never carved a pumpkin either.
And if I if you had to guess what face I put on my pumpkin, what would you guess?
Did you do like one of the Grim Getting Ghosts or like Jack Skellington or something?
That is in the totally right vein, but no. Um,
Mm.
Even more me than that.
Was it
I
over the garden wall? Oh my God, that popped up on my TV yesterday.
Well, actually, fun fact, we were carving the pumpkins and the inside smell of the pumpkin made me nauseous as fuck. I hated the smell of the pumpkin. It was disgusting. And so in order to make me feel better, while we took a break from the disgusting pumpkins, Dan, without prompting, just put on the pumpkin episode of the Garden Wall to make me feel
Mm-mm.
better.
I haven't watched it. I don't know any of the episodes, to be
Ugh.
clear, because it scared me. It was
But yeah,
very unsettling.
it is amazing. And so I watched the pumpkin episode and then I watched the Endicott episode, which is my favorite one. But no, I my pumpkin was the toy alien from Toy Story.
Oh, of course, of course.
Yeah,
You've got that on your skin.
I do.
Why would you not put it on a pumpkin?
I have it. It's
Well,
my
I love that.
favorite. And I was so mad because fun fact, carving on a pumpkin is significantly harder than drawing in terms of like having it look like you want it to.
Cool,
Um,
that I would be really bad at it because I'm also already really bad at drawing.
And I
Like,
was so upset. I was just like basically crying. And Dan was like, it's gonna be okay. And I was like, no, it's not. His eyes are messed up. And he was like, it's a pumpkin. Like, it looks fine. And I was like, I don't think you understand. I learned how to draw the toy alien from the Disney Animation Studio. I have like a signed,
me too.
yeah, like
I learned it on YouTube from the Disney Animation
oh no,
Studio.
I learned
I
it,
know.
I went in Hong Kong
At
Disneyland,
Disney. Yeah.
like in Hong Kong,
Oh!
and in Cantonese.
Oh, I didn't
I
realize.
went.
I thought you just did it while you worked
No,
at
I did it.
Disney.
I did it in Hong Kong. I
Oh.
did it in Hong Kong, and I took the class in Cantonese as like a way to like understand what my kids feel like in my classes when just talking at them and things that
Love
they don't
that.
understand. But then I did it, and it was the best one. Like actually, like they told me mine, it was really good, and I can draw the toy alien. Like it's the one thing that I'm really good at drawing.
That's so sweet.
It's my favorite. So when I drew it and it didn't look correct, I was devastated.
Do you think I can stay attached to my charger while my headphones just told me they're dead? Or do you think
Girl,
I'm gonna break everything?
girl, I don't know.
Let's see if I can do it. Hold on.
See, my headphones are corded. My headphones are corded, so I
Oh
have to
no.
stay attached to them.
Uh,
Did you mess up your speakers when you did that?
I broke everything. Hold
You
on.
sound, oh, I was like, you sound fine.
Um, okay, talk to me.
Um, yeah, no, I was gonna say, I don't know what you're gonna do, about your cords because my headphones are corded, so I'm always attached. Um,
Okay, I'm gonna try and put this back on my headphones. Um, it should make it, and then I'll just get my my earbuds for the next one.
Okay.
If I can get it to reconnect because
Um, and
okay,
also,
it should be better now. These should last through this episode, and
yeah.
then I will get my
Um,
buds for the next
okay. I do also want to say, even though I'm talking about Halloween, I would like to wish everyone a very, very happy Thanksgiving because this episode comes
one.
out on
Yes, happy
Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving.
Yeah, so, it was okay. I didn't do a lot, but I did some cute stuff, and so I'm just trying to get through the day. So, how are you?
Every day. Every day. I'm good. If you watched last Sunday's episode, I'm super sick. So I just keep pretending like I'm not, which is not helpful. So this episode, because I obviously have to talk a lot, I've made a hot toddy, and I think I've talked about my hot toddy recipe on here before. It's from my mom, who says this is not how makes them, but I have watched her do this on multiple occasions. She just heats up whiskey like you would heat up water in the microwave. You just heat up whiskey in the microwave, and then you just put a tea bag in the whiskey, and then you put a little honey to taste. So it is straight whiskey with a tea bag and honey. And I had just enough Jameson to like fill up my cup. So I have Jameson, and I did Irish breakfast instead of English because it's Jameson
Jameson,
and a little
yeah.
honey. I do usually do peppermint tea, but I usually do Jack or Jack honey with peppermint tea.
Mm.
Um, but my other whiskey right now is Costco whiskey, which is like Crown, and I don't like Crown as much, so
Mm.
I'm finishing off with Jameson. But yeah, I'm okay. Other than that, I'm sick because I just got back from a cruise that was amazing. It was so much fun. It was a true crime podcast cruise. It's the first one. It was Crime Wave at Sea. And we got to see a lot of like creators and stuff. And so I went because Sinisterhood was going. And so I like bought my ticket through them. And I know I've talked about them ad nauseum on here,
Yeah.
especially because they just did a cameo for me. And so we got to meet them, and they were so cool. I took pictures with them. They did, I talked about last, they covered Captain Phillips, which was really fun.
Mm.
But then like also Scared to Death podcast, which is one of my favorites, also was on board. And so I got to meet Dan and Lindsay, and a lot of people know Dan Cummings from like stand-up comedy. Um, and so he also has a podcast called Time Suck, but with his wife, he
Oh,
does, yeah. So a lot of people know Time Suck too.
yeah.
But I mean, he's been doing stand-up since like early, early aughts, so like early 2000s. So like over 20 years. But they were so nice, and they do a summer camp every year that I've always wanted to go to, and I haven't been able to go
Yeah.
yet because it's always like this year I had the bar, and last year I was at a festival in Seattle. And then they had like Housewives of True Crime, which were the nicest people. I hadn't really listened to them much before, but we hung out with them after one of the events. And oh, Murder at the Met Gala. And so we were all dressed up super fancy, and it was the night of the beaver moon. And so we went and took pictures, and then we went to the comedy show with them after, and they're lovely. They live in Texas. I don't remember where,
Okay.
but Texas. And they
Because
had a
Texas is a
paranormal
very small
chicks.
place.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Just right around the corner, and you're still there. It's fine. No, you drive to the state. It's bigger than driving through all of America at one time, I think. But they had a paranormal chick, so I hadn't listened to it all because they got added on last minute. They're so funny. They're from Mississippi, so they're definitely very like Southern vibes. But they're hilarious. So a paranormal chicks, Housewives of True Crime Campfire, which I discovered when they were announced with the cruise,
I
and
love
I'm
true.
obsessed.
I think
Oh my
I
gosh,
I think I follow them on YouTube.
they're amazing. I talk to Whitney so much. She's just a hoot. And I was telling her like, because that's one of the podcasts that they're so, uh,
Oh no, I'm sorry, I don't. The one that I follow on YouTube is called Campfire Conspiracies. They're from
mm,
Australia.
no, they're from, I want to say the Midwest. I don't remember where they're at, but they're not from the same place either.
Mm.
Um, but they're so fun. I talk to Whitney a lot because that's the podcast that's so like calming. And so I don't always hear all the stories very well because I'm like cozy
Ah,
vibes. So I'm
that's
just
how I
kind of like
feel.
listening.
That's how I feel about true crime before bedtime. I love her voice and I
Yes,
fall asleep.
yes. But they're so good at their stories. And so like for the
Yeah.
show that they did on board, they were like, for people that haven't listened to us, we want to give you like a taste of what we do. And so they did like one true crime story. They did one like what was it, like scammy story, and one like historical story. And so they do a little bit of each one. And Whitney's voice is just, it's the perfect voice for radio. Like
Mm.
she's not a perfect face for radio. She is also very pretty, but like perfect voice for radio. And so it was just so relaxing. And one of the cases they covered was rentahitman.com, which if you don't know that story,
I
it's
don't.
hilarious. The episode should come out, I think they release on Wednesdays. I don't remember, but it should come out like this week because it was
Okay.
they recorded all their shows on the boat.
Yeah.
Um, so they're amazing. I've been listening to them. And then oh, and last podcast on the left. So Henry and Ed were there from Side Stories. It was so because Ben's not there anymore, and there's another one, but he wasn't there. It was just Henry and
Marcus.
Ed. Marcus wasn't there. It was just Henry and Ed.
Oh, well, Mark, so
Um,
so Henry is amazing. Obviously, like I said, I know that there's scandals with Ben, but I'm not to that point in the podcast yet, so I'm just like
gotcha.
pretending.
Yeah.
I'm just like trying to get through
Yeah.
it because like I don't know what happened.
Hmm.
And until he actually gets, I don't want to deep dive into it until he
I won't
actually
tell you.
like, well,
Yeah.
I because I will get there, but I won't once I
But you
know
want to
what.
enjoy what you're listening to
Right,
now, and
like
then when
once
you
I
get
know
there,
what
yeah.
happened, I won't be able to listen to the parts of the podcast that he's on, and so I need to get past the point where he gets kicked off the podcast before I actually like find out what actually happened because I'm neurotic. Um,
Yeah.
but Marcus is the one who does all the research. Like
Yeah.
he's the brains behind the podcast. Um, Ad and Henry are like the comedy behind the podcast. Like not that
Right.
Marcus isn't funny, but like Marcus is the brains behind the podcast. And so like um while I love Henry so much and he's so funny, like Marcus would be who I would really want to meet because I just want to understand
Gotcha.
I want to know how his
Well,
brain works.
so they started Side Stories, which is the technical
Yes.
podcast that came on, and that's just Henry and Ed, I believe.
Yes. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um,
That one is just Henry and Ed.
Ed is apparently the adult, so I listened to some of their older stuff, but it was too much for me. And
Because
I've
it's
listened to some of their newer
insane.
stuff, which is also too much for me.
They're
But
insane.
they are so funny. They hosted the pool deck party because they closed the pools, so we couldn't be in the pools. So it was just a pool deck party. And it was so funny. And it was so Ed had some beef with this guy for Connect Four. I really forgot what happened. I think they played at Nassau or something. And then he kept beating Ed. And so Ed was like, this is what we're doing. So they did like a Connect Four tournament for their pool deck party. And then they also did, Henry did a dance off. But they only did it mostly to rock, mostly Aussie. Every song came on, I was like, this is a TRO song. This is a TRO song. Like, um, because it was all Ozzy stuff. Like, but it was like Black Sabbath and early Ozzy. It wasn't like newer
Yeah.
stuff that like so it was stuff that like I worked on. And they did it was so much fun. They were so funny. They felt a little, I'll say, this is controversial, I guess, but their like actual podcast performance was one of my least favorites because it just felt so unprepared. And I know that that's how their side
That's kind of
stories
their
are.
vibe. Yeah, that's kind of their vibe
Right.
is which and here's the thing, which is why Marcus is my favorite because their vibe is
Yeah.
like it basically and that's why like I haven't listened to side stories because Marcus is so researched and it's basically like Marcus is the straight man giving you all the information and then Henry just does fucking improv off of what Marcus says.
Yes.
And so in context, his shit is funny, but I don't like it without the context.
Yeah, and see, and I think I like their newer last podcast post Ben, but pre side stories. Like I think I like it better because it has that research, and I want to go back and listen to some of their like multi-parters.
Mhm.
And their comedy's hit or miss for me. It's a little
It
bit
is. It is. It's.
too
I mean, it's.
man podcast
Yes, I was gonna say
for
it's.
me.
They're like bros who get high and
Right.
say dude shit.
Right.
And
It's like if
so
Joe Rogan wasn't a dick, like I would. It has the same vibes, but I don't hate them. Like I don't have anything against
no,
them.
no, no, no.
It's not always my comedy.
Which is yeah,
Um,
exactly. Which
and like, but they
and
seem really nice.
sometimes that is like sometimes I have the comedy of a 12-year-old boy and I
Yeah,
think it's really funny and
sure.
sometimes I'm like, wow, that was too much for me.
Yeah. And they were like, everyone was there. So like when you signed up for Crime Wave, you signed up under a cell code from one of the podcasts. So you had to be affiliated with the podcast to like come on it as under this group. And 80% of the people there were for last podcast. Um, and then there were like a few of us. Sinisterhood was probably the next biggest. And then a couple of people from the other podcast. But it was, I mean, most people, we went to dinner and our entire dinner table was there from last podcast. So like it was it was overwhelming there. So anytime they had like meet and greets, so like we had this big pool party at Coco Cay, which is Royal Caribbean's private island, like they were just like bombarded with people at all times. And
Yeah.
I was like, so I didn't really talk to them. I mean, when we were leaving, Henry was leaving at the same time with his wife, and so like I commented because he had three rolling bags that he kept just like losing control of. And I just looked at him and I was like, "You're such a trooper. You're doing a great job." And I was like, and Carson was like, "Do you need some help?" Like, and
Right.
that was the only time we really like talked to them because they just like they were either bombarded or not around, which
Yeah.
is fair. I mean, everyone was there for them and everyone was like in their face at all times. So like I
They were
understand that they
probably
did.
of the podcasts that you've mentioned, I think they're probably the most well known.
Yeah, they are. They are. And like they're the most well known as in Sinister right after. I didn't realize they have the same agent manager, so like Sinister has the same agent
Okay,
manager
that
as
makes
them.
sense.
Yeah, but they're definitely like the second, they were definitely the second biggest from everyone. Everyone else was kind of like tangential or had like worked with these people at some point. And that's how they kind of like got brought up. But they were
Right.
really good. It was a really fun time. Like all the creators were really great. Oh, Scared to Death is pretty big too. Um, but I don't think they're as big as Sinisterhood and Last Podcast. I think
Mm,
Dan's bigger than anyone. Like he is probably the most well known of
right.
anyone that was there. But podcast wise, they were probably like third biggest, but they had a following too. Um, so, but it was so much fun, and I definitely want to go back. They've already started like talking about Crime Wave 2.0. I guess I can talk about it. Other people have.
Yeah.
It hasn't actually been announced yet, but
Right.
it's gonna happen. And that'll be 27. But we, because it was the first one, we got to actually like talk with like the CEO and like all the people that were
Oh,
like
that's
running it.
cool.
So and they were so nice and they like really wanted feedback and you know me, I love a questionnaire. So they sent it out yesterday and I've just been like biding my time. I'm like I need to like feel better so I can actually take my time and put all of my thoughts down on paper because they did an excellent job for like first time,
Right, but
like for
obviously
something
there's
crazy. But there's so much like that could be added on. So I have a lot of thoughts, but they were really I think I scared the guy because Robert, who like was kind of like the event guy that was on board who ran a lot of the actual events, he was telling me about it, and I was like, I love a questionnaire. I have so many opinions. And he just looked at me, and I was like, mostly good. I was like, I just have some thoughts on organization. I was
yeah,
like, but I really think this has been like really successful. And the CEO, we actually had breakfast with his parents one morning.
I love that.
And so they told us about the Crime Wave 2.0 before it was actually announced because they were talking about it, and they like oh, this is a fun story. This is my last thing. I'm sorry. I have so much to say.
Yeah.
Um, he I learned about to cross over with our football addiction. Um, his dad, the CEO's dad, was the 10,000th member to go to Miami Stadium.
Oh.
Um, and apparently when you are that person, he won like a trip to Paris and like free tickets for the full season and tickets for the full season of baseball in Florida maybe. But like he got like year-long season tickets for all this stuff.
Baseball in Florida, maybe. You mean the Miami Marlins?
Yeah. Yeah. He didn't go. He gave his friend the tickets to the Marlins, but he went to all the NFL
Hold
games.
on. Are they Miami? Now I
I
just
don't
said
know.
that.
I don't know
Yes,
anything about
no, they
baseball.
are. They are. Okay. I was
Yeah.
like, I said that and then I was like, wait, that sounds incorrect. But no, I'm
But he
correct.
also won this like massive trip to Paris. Like you got all this like really cool stuff for being the 10,000th member to walk into the Miami Dolphins stadium, which was the craziest thing.
That's
Um, Oh, and I made new vacation friends, and Kylie made everyone friendship bracelets, but not from T Swift. She's from Vegas, so it's from ADC,
I don't know what that
some music thing that I've never
Okay.
heard of in Vegas. But yeah, so it was really fun. It was a good time, and a lot happened, and I probably talked for 3 hours about it. So now that you've heard about my wonderful experience on my cruise, do you want to give us a little motivation to make it work?
Absolutely. The fantasy is simple. Pleasure is good, and twice as much pleasure is better. That pain is bad and no pain is better. But the reality is different. The reality is that pain is there to tell us something. and there's only so much pleasure we can take without getting a stomach ache. And maybe that's okay. Maybe some fantasies are only supposed to live in our dreams.
False. Fake news. Fake news. I'm not here for it. It's the whiskey. Don't listen to me.
Just, just ignore me. It's okay. The reason I may or may not have seemed distracted while you were telling your story was because my sweet, lovely husband just got home and
Mm.
put the groceries away and then texted me to ask me how long ago I poured myself a glass of milk because the milk was sitting on the counter.
Well, did you say it's been 3 hours
Yeah, no,
or more?
it
Yeah.
was, I took it out when I made my rice at 7.
And it's 11.
Yeah. Um,
Um,
he said, I said, oh, I'm so dumb. And he said, you're not dumb. I don't know how long
is
it
it
can,
regular milk or like,
it's 1%. I was like, there's not a high enough fat content in it. It'll be fine.
yeah, it's probably all right.
It's not like our
All
house
right.
is like
Smell it.
super, yeah, it's not like our house is super hot and
Yeah.
it doesn't have a very high fat content. Like if I left it out overnight, I would not drink it, but as long as
Sure,
it's
of
back in the,
course, of course.
as long as it's back in the fridge and it doesn't smell funny in the morning, I'm sure it'll be fine.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. No worries. Make Dan try it first. Um, oh no, I lost my notes.
God,
I think
we
I
can't do this without
here.
notes.
I know. Well, I have because I've been I started I told Mary Kate before we got on. I started the movie Saturday morning. I got back in Friday night. I started this movie for Saturday morning. I've been through a wedding and a whole day of football, and then I finished the movie today. So I pulled up, I had ChatGPT. I'm not gonna lie. I had ChatGPT give me like some like overview of the top points so I don't forget which things I need to talk about. I did read them and make sure that they made sense before I just like was like, I'm just using ChatGPT. No, I have my own notes as well,
Yeah.
but I didn't want to forget anyone's name or anything, which is what I normally do.
Oh, God.
And so I was like, oh no, my chat closed, but no, I have my history saved, so it's okay. I still have it. Anyways, because today our movie is The Witch. And here's the thing. Before we get into how I feel about it, we'll get into that after I give you a little overview.
Yeah.
But I picked this movie because obviously we've just finished Coven, so witchy related. And
Yeah.
I've been wanting to watch this movie for years because another podcast I mentioned, Keep It Weird. Um, Ashley on there has talked about it so many times that and she's like, this is really well done. It's a really fantastic movie. And like, I I get it from the things I've heard from her. Like she's really into her. She's really into like even deeper than I get when I'm like I can watch a movie that I know is bad and still enjoy it because it has these certain elements you're supposed to have and it's well
Yeah.
done even if I didn't enjoy it. Um, but I've just heard so many positive things about it that I was like, this is gonna be great to talk about.
Which is
Um,
so interesting because before I, if you guys remember on the podcast, I pulled up a Reddit page and just laughed last week when we were
yeah,
talking about this because the first Reddit page I found was one that was like, why do people think this movie is good?
right. And I will tell you why, so don't worry, we'll get to it. I'll tell you why.
Yeah, but I will
Um,
say, so we both knew nothing about the movie, but we both had very different frames of reference going into it. You had heard
right.
nothing but great things. I had heard nothing but mixed reviews. Like
Yeah.
most people were like, okay.
I know. It's such a like polarizing movie, I feel like, which is weird.
Yeah,
Especially because of the background about it. So let me tell you a little more about it. It aired on I'm gonna say 75 times, by the way. So just lock in.
perfect.
It aired February 19th of 2016, and it was rated 7 out of 10, which tracks based on what I know about this film. There are so
It's an
many really high, and
A24,
there's
right?
yes, it's an A24, which will come up in a minute. I'll bring it up again. Um, I'm really distraught about this Green Bay game. I'm so sorry. I'm gonna lose because Goddard can't get 11 points. He has 8. Um, because the score is 10-7 in the fourth quarter. They were
Ooh.
3-0 at halftime. Anyways, so the number one song is Love Yourself by Justin Bieber. So we are real into that range, real into like older Gen Z range. Um, number one movie is Deadpool, which I still haven't watched the new one because I have so many mixed feelings now about the Reynolds Lively family.
I did watch the newest Deadpool, but it was before all of the
I know, I
like,
wish I would have watched it on time, like,
yeah, I watched it
because now
before
I feel like
things
it's not
got,
gonna be right for me.
yeah. I just like to pretend that he is just pretty and dumb and doesn't realize how bad she is.
That's what I'm hoping. I'm also kind of just like waiting out this court case. I mean, I think it's settled, but they had another one.
Yeah.
They like settled the first one, but there's still more in that. So I'm just kind of waiting until it's all resolved, and then I
Yeah.
can decide how I feel.
Yeah.
Um,
Also
yes.
on this day, Montana waited in line to meet all the Star Wars characters with me, even though she
Stop.
literally had never seen a single Star Wars movie. Um, and as our
Oh.
because it was our first like free day, we both had off once we were working at Disney.
I love Montana. I was just talking about her. Is she still doing the picture stuff at Disney?
I think so. I don't know.
Because
She and
she
Sarah,
left, but I thought she went back
yeah, she and
to
Sarah were just
photo.
like on vacation for like ever this summer, doing like running away to England and Scotland and
Ugh, I'm so jealous. I think I follow them in weird places, so I never like always see their updates.
I know.
Um, like I think I have them on Snapchat. Like I don't have them on like regular social media. I have them both on Snapchat though. Like
Yeah, no,
because they came to New York and had lunch with me one day.
yeah, no, they had friends who got married in England in October, so they were just over on like a huge trip. Um,
Nice.
so
Yeah. Anyways, not to diverge, but I did just talk about her like 2 days ago because my friend just got
okay.
back from Disney and I was thinking about it. The number one book is Brotherhood Death by J.D. Robb. I'll say again, I still haven't read any of the series. I will one day.
My
It just hasn't
mom
happened yet.
is obsessed with them, so she
I
owns she owns
just
she owns every single JD Robb book in both hard copy and paperback.
stop. I love how, speaking of neurodivergence, as we were doing off the podcast, I love your mom and her ADHD alarms.
Oh
My
yeah.
favorite.
Oh
That is
yeah.
how we got through your. I don't know if you know.
Oh yeah, no, no, no. Because my mom and I both 100% suffer from time blindness. And
Yeah,
I was trying to explain the one day we were talking about alarms with my students, and I was like asking them about how many alarms they have to get up in the morning. And a couple of them were like one, a couple of them were like, honestly, none, I just wake up in the morning, and I was like, you're a psycho. A couple of them were like, none,
correct.
some of them were like, none, my mom wakes me up, and I was like, that's fine, you're 12. Um,
Right, fair.
and then some of them were like, I have 17 alarms. And I was like, thank you. I
Same,
was like,
same.
I have alarms for if you don't make coffee right now, you won't get coffee. I have alarms that
Yeah,
say like, if you don't leave the house right now, you will be late for work. I have alarms that say like, if you don't put your clothes on right now, you do not have time to get ready. Like my alarms aren't for waking up. My
yeah.
alarms are like for I will not function in the
Right.
morning.
For this is your next step. Yeah. No, but
Yeah.
your mom, your whole week at your wedding had an alarm set for every 15 minutes.
Oh no, yeah. She has an
The
alarm set.
entire week.
She
It
sets an
was
alarm
so,
in the morning. She sets an alarm in the morning and then she does not turn it off.
yeah, yeah. She just
She
snoozes it for
She
every,
just
yeah.
snoozes it for 15 minutes for the entire day because it's the
But
only way
like
she,
12 times a day, it scares her. And it's
yeah.
because like most of the time she's prepared for it, but sometimes she's
But
not. And it
because
was
she
really
doesn't know what
funny.
time it is, she literally has no
Right.
idea. No idea.
That was my favorite thing. It was so funny.
She's the
Um,
jam.
yeah, she truly is. She truly is. I owe her money. Um, but it's okay. It's fine.
For once in
She
my
still
life, I
loves
don't owe
me.
her money.
Look at you. She still loves me when I owe her money, it seems, so it's okay. Um, on this day, I only have a couple of facts for you because it was a lot of war stuff, and honestly, I didn't want to talk about it, but I talked about death instead.
Okay.
So, Umberto Eco, who was like a philosophy
Yep.
and
I know who he
artist.
is.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know who he was, but he passed away at 84.
Hmm.
Um, on the same day as Harper Lee, who died at 89.
Oh.
So I
And then her family fucked
mhm.
over everything.
I know. I don't think I realized it was that recent. Like I thought it was a little bit earlier. Like I knew it was in
No.
our lifetime, but I thought it was earlier.
Nope,
Um,
I distinctly remember when it happened and I was so sad. And then it was way too soon after her death that Ghost at a Watchman was released. And then I learned all of the things about how much she really never wanted it to be published. And I still haven't read it because of that. I
I haven't
refuse.
read it yet either. I haven't read
It's
any of it.
I won't because like it was a first draft that she never wanted published and her parent and
I know.
her children did it as a money grab
For the money.
and I will not ever support that.
Yeah, that's totally fair. I think we talked about that on the podcast
Yeah,
before too. Um, but yeah, that's totally fair. Yeah, so that's what happened that day, death, because I didn't want to talk about war. So,
that's fair.
um, also, we have our director and our writer are Robert Eggers. This is his debut in directing. He
Okay.
was mostly a theater guy before. Um, and he did work on some other stuff before, but this is his first like big project.
Okay.
Um, he is since known for The Lighthouse with your favorite Robert Pattinson. Are you
Oh,
are you Team Edward or Team Jacob?
oh,
I
Team
don't
Edward,
remember this.
100%.
Okay, so
Have
Robert
you?
Pattinson. Yes, he's unhinged. I watched a video of him lately. Is
I
that what
was
you're
gonna
about to
say,
ask me?
did you see the interview where he refuses to believe that he's not Gen Z, even though he's like 40
Yes.
years
Did I send
old?
that to you? I feel like I sent that
You
to
sent me
you.
something about it, but I'd seen it before. But like Jennifer Lawrence is
Yeah.
like, "What are you talking about?"
Yeah. And he's like, no, I'm Gen Z. And she's like, you're absolutely not. Like,
But
yeah.
my favorite is all of the edits. They're like, "How long have you been Gen Z?" I'm 17.
Yeah.
Yes, but how long have you been 17?
Right, right. Yeah, no. No.
Oh,
I didn't watch The Lighthouse. I haven't seen any of these films, but I'm
no.
familiar with all of them.
Right.
Um, so he did The Lighthouse, he did The Northman, and he did the new Nosferatu that came out in 24.
Oh, okay. I've heard Monica loved it and no one else I know did.
Really, I heard really good things about it. I
Okay.
like somebody recently told me they really liked it.
Okay.
But I haven't watched it yet. I haven't watched the original either though, so I feel like I need to watch it first.
Fair.
There's, stages.
Yeah.
Um, so he actually because like it's kind of funny because now that he's directed the new Nosferatu, he actually in high school also directed a stage version of Nosferatu. So he's had ties to it his whole life. Um, in all of his films, he really focuses on the folklore horror element, which is traveled through Lighthouse, Nosferatu, Northman, and The
Yeah.
Witch. He's really big into that. And he's married to a clinical psychologist. So I hope he questions her every day about how to make
I
psychological horror.
I hope she questions him every day about his mental health based
Yeah,
on the
I
movies he
mean,
makes.
look, I get it. I will tell you his filmmaking style. I will screenshot this. One of his major traits of film directed by him is his strict attention to detail, which is could be better, but
It
it's fine.
To be fair, this
Um,
was his first film, so let's
right. This is his first film, and we haven't seen his newer stuff, so we don't have all of the information. But all of his films are period dramas and have been noted for their historical accuracy, especially their use of specific language and period appropriate dialogue, which again, there's some errors here. But
but I will say this was fairly good and
yeah,
it was fairly good and I think to his credit the things that he changed for storytelling purposes I'm not actually mad at because um like toward the end of the movie there was like a thing that came up that said that almost all of the dialogue is actually based on journals from the 1600s
yes,
and
it
I
is. Mhm.
genuinely think that um incorporating his own storytelling with the journals I didn't see a lot of I didn't see a lot of break from it. Like there were a couple
Yeah.
places that it wasn't quite, but obviously like you have to do what you have to do for the
Mhm.
storytelling, but it was very hard to tell when it was direct quotes from the 1600 journals and when it was his dialogue. So I do appreciate that. I did think his
Right.
language was one of the things that I liked about the movie.
Yeah, the internet said that like one of the biggest discrepancies was the use of thou and you, the way he used it, he sometimes interchangeably used it incorrectly. I don't know enough about that to know if that's true or not, but that was the only thing that they were like, this is a little bit not quite right, but it's not
Well,
wrong enough that you would notice
right. Well, and
necessarily.
what I would say is that what he did was he um stuck to the correct thous anytime that they were doing prayer or scripture and then
Yes, yes.
was a little more casual when they were talking to each other, which
Right.
may
Yeah,
not be 100% period accurate, but it is more likely that families at that time, if they were using any casual language, they would immediately just drop out of it and speak in formal language when quoting scripture. So I'm not mad at when he changed it because
right.
it's the same way that even now if you're quoting the Bible, you quote the Bible and then you keep talking about it in normal language. Would they have probably used more formal language more often? Probably, but he was very good at keeping the formal language for the scripture and the informal language for conversation.
Right.
So I don't
And
fault him
I
for that.
also feel like you specifically, the word you has so much overlap and there's so much of a thin line between how it's used formally and informally in different languages, like
Yes.
even in French and Spanish and
Yes.
like there's so much that it's like that doesn't bother me so much if that's
No.
your biggest critique on language that it's like he still did a pretty good job. Like,
Yeah, no,
you know,
and as someone who obviously like language is kind of my job,
yeah.
I didn't find fault with that at all because I saw the delineation between scripture and conversation.
Right.
And that
Yeah.
I think he deliberately chose that to emphasize the scripture.
For sure. And I knew you have a lot of good like in-depth information on that side too, like scripture, not just the language side.
Yeah.
So I thought that you might appreciate that part. Which was not anything I knew was gonna happen. I didn't know that was gonna be relevant here,
Right.
but it is. Yeah, and so he gave a Rotten Tomatoes interview and he said that he's not interested in making films that are contemporary ever. He claims that the idea of photographing modern technology disgusts him, which was very, very
That's a
strong.
very yeah, that I like listen,
It's such a strong take.
I'm all for period pieces. I love period pieces. I think they're
Sure.
great and I think specifically period pieces that are like in underrepresented periods. Like
Mm.
I don't want to see a single other like 1920s party movie.
1920s film.
Like
Yeah.
I don't care. We don't need to Gatsby it up anymore. However,
Right.
like give me and like
1732.
right, and like,
Yeah.
listen, I don't care about the witch trials, but you want to talk to me deeply about like the actual day-to-day agrarian, like puritanical life of the settlers in the 16 and
Mhm.
1700s? Please, like nobody talks about that. They do the witch trials and the Revolutionary War and then fuck the rest of it. Like, I want to
Do
know,
you
like,
know if that's where this film falls? Did
what?
you pick that up?
What? That
This
is
film falls in that time period you just said you wanted to hear more about.
Yeah, no. That's what but I'm
Okay,
saying.
good.
But I'm saying no.
Yeah, yeah.
Obviously, I know that. But like, but people pick the big moments like that are over and over and
Hmm.
over done. I don't care. Like,
For sure.
give me more 1875. Like, who the fuck talks about that? It's post Civil War, pre like modernization. Nobody
Vietnam.
cares. Like
Wait, pre-World
1875.
War One.
Yeah. Like, and so like
I heard you after I said it, and I was like, that's not the right
no. But so like
time to answer.
yes, please like do period
Hmm.
pieces. But the photographing modern technology disgusts me. Okay, fucking hipster.
That's exactly what I was thinking. He has said that the latest era that he's willing to film is the 1950s. And I'm like, if you're trying to be this like hipster type, you gotta go pre 1900s or you're done. Like, there's nothing like between 1900 and 1950, there's nothing that hasn't been done. So
Correct.
like, you need to go farther
Yeah.
back.
Yeah.
Talk to me about bone flutes. I read a paper about that once. And they're quite interesting. So talk about the creation of musical instruments.
Yeah.
We will go back all the way. Um, yeah, so that's Robert Eggers, our director and writer. Our editor is Louise Ford. She's known for Nosferatu, The Lighthouse, and then Bad Education and Wildlife. I did not know Bad Education existed. It's got Allison Janney in it, and it's on HBO. I need to look more into it
Oh,
because I love Allison Janney.
I think I
Um,
have heard of that. I don't know a lot about it, but now that you say that, I think that that vaguely sounds familiar.
Yeah, I didn't know much about it. I will tell you, her trivia just says that she's British and lives in Brooklyn. Like one comment, there's one comment of trivia that says she's British and lives in Brooklyn, and that's it.
Congratulations.
Like her Instagram is private. I can't find any other information about her. Um,
Some of these Hollywood people piss me off.
I
Like,
know they're like people
I
have
want
private lives or something. I
to,
don't
right, like,
know.
but no, but it's like, I want to be famous and I want everyone to know about me, but also don't know anything about me.
You're right. Yeah. But I mean, she's an editor, so she's like,
Right. No, she's yeah, that's fair.
yeah, she's
Editors are
like,
like,
please don't talk to me. I'm literally just here to be in the background. Um, but I mean, she's got some good credits, but a lot of them are with Robert Eggers. They do a lot of work
yeah.
together. And so I didn't talk about a lot of the people. I only talked about two of the actual like cast members we have because one, I don't have 7 years, but also we talked about Anya Taylor-Joy already, so
Yeah.
I didn't recur to this. But I did want to talk about Ralph Ineson. He plays William, the father. And he does a lot of work with Robert Eggers. He's in most of his films. He's known for The Witch. He's known for The Green Knight. He's known for the new Fantastic Four, which I have not been hearing good reviews about. Um,
I'm
the
sorry.
25 one. Have you seen it?
The one that just came out this year.
Yeah.
It's the best movie Marvel's made in two
Really?
decades. I'm telling you, it is the best Marvel movie since Endgame.
Wow. I
I
have
don't
heard terrible reviews about
I
it.
no. Listen. Okay. All right. I'm about to get on my high horse here. People
Okay.
who don't like it.
Okay.
There are some things that people don't like. One, people don't like that the Silver Surfer is a girl. Fuck you. Because in the comics, she is. There is more than one
Is she?
Silver.
I didn't realize
There's
that.
more than one Silver Surfer in the
Okay.
comics. There's more than one Silver Surfer in the comics. This is one of the Silver Surfers. It
Interesting. I
is
mean, I don't
not
care if we gender swap anyway, so that doesn't ever
right, but
bother me.
it is not necessarily the one that is traditionally
Yeah.
often paired with the Fantastic Four, but the story is straight from the comics. People don't like the like retro, like the future retro, like original Tomorrowland vibe, which is 100%
Okay.
also exactly how the Fantastic Four is in the comics.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Like,
that makes sense.
right.
Yeah.
Um, I genuinely don't understand most people's critiques because I like, um, this movie, first of all, like I said, it fits the comics more accurately than any of the other Fantastic Four movies have so far. It is the first movie that Johnny Storm is intelligent, which is a very, very big
Okay, that
problem for
is,
me because,
yes.
like, while Chris Evans is hot and it's great and cool, Human Torch, the dumbing down of Johnny Storm, who was literally an
Yeah.
astronaut, is so infuriating to me.
Yeah.
In this movie, Johnny is like flighty and like playboy-y, but also super fucking smart, just like a little bit dumb sometimes, which
Who
is
plays him in this film?
um Eddie from Stranger Things. What's his name?
I haven't seen Stranger
Joseph
Things.
Quinn. Um
Okay, I'm gonna look him up.
it's so good. So good.
I'm just
The
looking at the whole cast.
um a, most
I
people
mean, to be fair, most of the Fantastic Four movies have been tragic. Like, I don't know that I've
tragic.
enjoyed one of them.
No, this
Um,
is honestly my dad didn't like my dad doesn't like Pedro Pascal. He thinks he's super overrated and he didn't like Pedro Pascal as Mr. Fantastic, but
here's the
like
thing.
and I was
He's
like
overrated, but I love him.
right,
Like,
and I was like, Dad, okay.
oh, Natasha Lyonne's in it. I love her.
Yes, Natasha Lyonne is in it. She's fantastic. I'm obsessed
John
with
Malkovich,
I'm obsessed with Vanessa
RDJ.
Kirby. Yeah.
Come on.
Listen, the cast is fucking stacked. The dialogue is
It
wonderful.
is.
The graphics are beautiful. The music is off the chain. Like Dan and I listen to the soundtrack every day. Um, it is I left that movie and literally Dan and I said it was the best Marvel movie since Endgame. Like it was the last time
That's wild.
it was
That's
the
a
first
big
it was the first time
take.
I left a Marvel movie since Endgame satisfied that I had seen a movie.
Interesting. I'll have to actually watch it soon then. I've been putting it off because everybody's been talking shit about it. Like
People
and I'm so like I every Fantastic Four movie's been terrible, so I'm like, I'll watch it one day. Like who's to say it's
No,
another
I am a big Ian Grufford fan. I loved the original Fantastic Four movie just because I think he's the perfect Reed
I mean,
Richards.
I love it, but it was terrible. That's how
Right.
I feel.
No,
You know,
but
like
like I think I convinced myself it was good because Ian Grufford is the perfect Reed
yeah,
Richards, and if only he had been
sure,
like
sure.
handed a better movie. Um,
Right.
I will say the end is not my favorite, because
Okay.
the end, like post credit stuff sets up the next movies, and I don't love it.
Is that
Um,
the next movie's of Fantastic Four or of Marvel?
of Fantastic Four.
Okay. I don't
Um,
need to know more than that. That's all
right,
I'm
like
interested
no,
in.
but it sets some stuff up, and I don't love that. Like I don't love how they did the post-credit stuff. Um, but and there is but like it's so good because it's the Fantastic Four is one of the only comics like the Incredibles is a lot based on the Fantastic Four
Yeah.
in the way that like the community knows who the Fantastic Four are and they're part of the community and everybody likes them and like and it's not like secret superheroes like around like you know what I mean like the whole Batman of it like it doesn't have any of that like stuff like it's not like everybody knows Reed Richards is Mr. Fantastic. There is no
Right.
like it's no Clark Kent situation like it's and I love the way that they like do the community interactions. And
Right.
no spoilers, but it's the only superhero movie I've ever seen that they actively clean up the city after they fuck it up.
They do it. No, they do it in a different Marvel movie. Which one is it? There's one. Maybe it's a TV show. Maybe one of the
Oh,
Marvel
maybe one
TV
of the two Marvel
shows.
TV
Because you
shows.
don't watch those, yeah?
I
Or
haven't watched
you?
them yet.
Yeah.
I
I
like I
think it's
just
one of the
I
Marvel TV shows. I can't remember which
okay.
one though.
But like yeah, but like they like actively show them helping repair the city when after they break it.
Yeah.
Like and I just was like it's so stupid, but it's like so important to me. Like I genuinely it is one of my favorite movies.
Okay. Okay. I will take your word because I know you. Um, and I will watch it. I'm gonna watch it this week. I'm gonna say
Okay,
that. I never
great.
say that. I always say I'm gonna add it to my list. I'm gonna watch it this week.
And like
Um,
obviously, will you find flaws? Probably because it that it's
right.
it like of course, but I genuinely don't understand like the negative reviews.
Yeah, that's fair. Oh, sorry. I'm like going through my notes and like touching things. Um, yeah, I will watch it. I have been wanting to, and everybody put me off of it.
No.
I can't function. Okay.
But
Um,
but yes, Ralph Ineson is in it, and so
yes.
you should watch it.
Yes, he's in, I mean, he's Galacticus, so he's in like, and I think he's in, Guardians of the Galaxy too. He does a few things, and, he's also in Harry Potter. He's in all the major franchises. So at some point he's in Star Wars, Harry Potter, and MCU. So like, I feel like people don't know him. Like, I didn't know him before this film,
Because he
like
does a
by
lot,
name.
right? He does a lot of like stuff like Galactus, where he is a
Yeah.
presence, not a face.
Right, right. And so like I was surprised to know more about him, but he really has done everything. As including video games. He does voiceovers. He's done voiceovers for Assassin's Creed 4, Diablo 4, and Final Fantasy 16. I haven't played any of those versions. I have played all of those
Wait,
games, but
which
not those
Assassin's Creed
versions.
is that?
4. It's Bad Black Flag?
Black
Is
Flag,
that
the
the one?
pirate one. Okay, no,
The
my
pirate
dad.
one, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So I've only played the first one because I am a completionist, and so I started with the first one. I only played that one, but yeah. So he's been in those. Also, fun fact: he sued Disney in 2023 for a shoulder injury he had while he was filming Willow, the Disney Plus show.
Oh.
Um, and he won. And I put for they settled, but that's a win in Disney's book.
Right.
They actually just settled this year, and he filed in 23. Um, but yeah, because he said he couldn't do any of his stunts anymore. He couldn't do as well in acting because he had done both things for so long.
Mm.
But yeah, so that's Ralph Ineson. And then the other person I'm going to talk about is Kate Dickie, who plays Catherine. Um, so she plays also obviously a very big role. And she is known for Red Road, Prometheus, Filth, and the Green Knight. So they were both in the Green Knight. They were also both in Game of Thrones, but never actually acted together. So they were in different scenes.
Yeah.
She trained in the Royal Scottish Academy of Music and Drama. So she's got a big theater background as well, like Robert Eggers. And she was the first person in her family to be in the arts. And she talked about how like she was super nervous to be in the arts because she felt like she was being really pretentious. Um, but she wasn't because obviously she's doing fine.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, as you mentioned before, this is an A24 film. So I find it really interesting because it was one of the earlier ones that I feel like was recognized as A24.
Mm.
We've seen a lot since then.
Yeah.
It's frequently compared to like Midsummer, which I now understand. I don't. You haven't seen Midsummer,
I
right?
haven't. I have
Okay.
like seen clips of it. I have a vague idea of what it's about, and when this movie ended, HBO did want me to play Midsummer immediately. So,
Yes, same. Did you ever watch what's the one Nicolas Cage was in it and then it was a remake of a 70s film.
The Wicker
Wicker
Man.
Man.
Yeah.
Yes. Did you ever watch that one?
No, I just watched the bees scene on repeat.
Okay. Yeah. So I think all of these have that same vibe, but in different ways.
Okay.
But Midsummer, like I'm the person who tells you Wicker Man walks and Midsummer can run. That is my take on that film. And I feel like this film kind of fits into this. And you see like new A24 films that are like talk to me. I don't think you watched that one either.
Mm-mm.
But I've been keeping up with a lot of the A24 films because I really appreciate and like them because they're indie, they tell a different story, and they're a little bit different vibe from most horror films you get.
Yeah.
And like they're
I
not perfect,
No, and for
but
me,
they're
the
different.
problem is that, like, a lot of the times, in order to be different, the things that they do are the kind of scary that I can't handle.
And that's fair. I think like this one had dark scary, whereas like Talk to Me had dark scary but different dark scary. Like this one
Okay.
was killing babies, obviously, and culty stuff. Whereas Talk to Me is more like it leans on the verge of like suicidal elements. It's not quite that, but it's a very
Mm.
different vibe, but it's still dark in a different way. And I
Okay.
think that's something A24 does really well. I think sometimes they take it far for casual viewers, but they do it well for horror viewers, if
Which
that
makes
makes
sense.
sense.
Yeah, yeah.
And so I always want to watch the new A24 film, even though I know it's not going to be the best, and I know it's going to take something too far every time.
Every
Um,
time.
and I love it every time because Talk to Me was one of my favorite films of was it 23 it came out, I think.
I think so.
Um, and I absolutely loved it. So I'm always a big fan of that. Um, oh, it's on IMDb. I said I need to read the synopsis, but I'm going to do the chat that I pulled up.
Oh,
So I want to tell you a little bit about like the film itself, because obviously when we do movies, we don't talk about the plot a ton. We
yeah.
talk about the surrounding elements of it.
Yeah.
Um, and so I just want to make sure we hit some of the big elements. So for those of you who have not seen this film before or didn't watch this film and are just listening to our podcast, one, why? Just go watch the movie.
Right.
However, overall, this film is based, like I said, in 1630. So it's going to be about 30 years before the witch trials, but it has all of those same elements. We have the plot. We start the film with a family who ends up being banished from their colony because William's religious views really clash with the Puritan community, which is only kind of true. He's a little more Puritan than he believes he is, but he's not Puritan enough to be in the Puritan views.
Correct.
Um, and the biggest issue arises because we have a baby who disappears. Baby Samuel is playing peekaboo with Thomason, who's Anya Taylor-Joy's character, and she goes to look away for peekaboo and comes back and he's missing. And we have this like witch from the woods who is taking him and killing him for purposes. Um, and so because of all these things happening, this family's banished and they go to the woods and William's like, I am gonna start my
Well,
own.
the baby, that happens after they're already banished.
Yes.
Yeah,
Sorry,
yeah, yeah.
I said it.
Oh yeah, no,
But
they're
yes,
banished.
yeah.
They're living on their own farm off in the middle of nowhere. Thompson's like taking care of all of the kids, and
Right.
then the baby gets kidnapped,
Yeah.
and her
Um,
mom is real pissed about it.
correct. Yes. So we go through this and we start seeing like everything is failing because they're not quote unquote following the Puritan way. So they've been exiled, they're living in the forest, the baby gets stolen by the witch. We start seeing like the farm is failing, the crops are rotting, the milk is curdling. So like they're also having a hard time sustaining themselves with the idea that God has abandoned them. And so then we go to Caleb, who also is trying to like he's a kid, he's trying to like do his stuff, and he ends up bewitched by this woman as well, who is a witch, obviously. We later have his death scene where he theoretically comes back to Christ. It's up for interpretation. Um, and we throughout this whole time we have accusations of witchcraft because everyone thinks that Thomason is a witch, which, to be fair, she threatened to eat them at one point and kill them as a witch. So she did start
She
some of it,
did, but also
but she's
like
a kid. Like,
she's like a teenager and her bratty little sister who does none of the chores was being a little douche and she was like, "Oh, you think there's a witch in the wood? What if it's just me? I'm gonna kidnap you. I'm gonna take you out into the woods and
right.
eat you." And like I would definitely have said shit like that to my little sisters.
Oh my God, every day, all the time.
So
Yeah.
like I not a witch.
Not hashtag not a witch.
Like
Yeah.
petty older
Um,
sister, sure, not a witch.
right. But the problem is that Catherine starts believing that she is a witch, and William also is like, "We're having a lot of bad things happen to us. I think you might actually be a witch. It might be your fault." Um, and of course, we have a lot of deaths in the family. We have a lot of talk about the witch's book, which we hear in every demon possession, signing the book of the devil, um, and Thomason's progression through life. So I want to start before we get too far into it. What are your overall thoughts of this movie?
Okay. My overall thoughts of this movie. Um, I appreciated the artistic elements of this movie. I thought visually it was interesting. I thought time period, they were like, we've already talked a lot about how I genuinely think they did a really good job of the accuracy of the time period. Were there mistakes? Sure. But again, 1630s is not a very well documented time period. Um, I thought a lot of the both religious and witch symbols were really well done. As an art piece, it was great.
Yes.
However, I watched that entire movie and I am still not 100% sure what the plot of the movie is.
Hmm.
Um, I I don't know how anything happened.
Okay.
Like I it was very confusing.
Yeah.
I didn't find it very satisfying and not in a like, oh, I didn't like the ending. I wish it would have ended a different way kind of thing. I didn't find it satisfying in the sense that I was like, okay, but why? After every major
Right.
event. I just felt very, very much like they were so focused on creating this symbol of what that time period was like for people, and this symbol of what the occult can do to your life without actually
Right.
like thinking through what the plot of the movie was supposed to be.
Yes. So I think the problem with Robert Eggers, this is sorry, I just went real fast into that.
Yeah.
Um, he has these really great ideas, and
Hmm.
he really has this great vision, and he, for the love of God, sticks to it.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, and like here's
he
the thing, like it said, this movie was based on actual journals, actual accounts of things people went through at the time.
correct.
He used language direct from the accounts. He is
Right.
bringing an image, a journey of what people experienced being
Hmm.
terrified of witchcraft in the 1630s. He is bringing
Yeah.
that to life. That's
Right.
great. Do a fucking documentary then, because like I didn't
Right.
understand. There was no story.
Yeah, and I think the problem is that like he wanted so hard to stay in this time. Like we talked about it, 1630. And you mentioned like talk more about that. Yes. Um, but the problem is he used so much symbolism and he used so much like you had to know what was going on both in that present time and that he was referencing the witch trials to get the full story.
Right.
And it's not well written enough to do that.
Hmm.
And I think so he was director and editor, and I think that his direction and then I think Louise's editing was very well done.
Hmm.
However, the writing is where we lacked because we
Correct.
didn't tell the story we needed to tell.
Yeah.
And like it felt like what he did was he wrote the story where this family was banished. That's the plot. This family is banished from the Puritans, but they're
But
starting the Salem witch trials issue.
But here's the thing,
Um,
that's not a plot. That is a
right,
inciting incident. Like,
right. It's supposed to be the kickoff to the witch trials. But because it's so avant-garde, because we want to make it artsy, it doesn't hit the notes you need it to hit. It
well,
doesn't create a climax. It doesn't
it
create
and it
the
doesn't
progression you
and
need.
it doesn't return to any sense of civilization. It doesn't carry on into what the witch trials will be. Like
Right,
there is no resolution. At the end of the
right.
movie, this girl who spent the entire movie saying she wasn't a witch, that she was a good Christian, that it was everybody else around her who was doing terrible things. Her whole family's dead. She doesn't know what to do, so she goes and makes a deal with the devil and then joins a coven of witches and floats off into space? Question mark. Like, so like what is the resolution? Where are the witch trials? What are you leading toward? Like it
So I will tell you this is an A24 ending. This is not a Robert Eggers ending. I mean, I don't know, I haven't watched his movies, but this is an A24 ending. Like, this is how every main character goes off at the end of the story. When you look at Midsummer, these are not spoilers because it's a trajectory, not a plot.
right.
Um, the main character, very similar to how Wicker Man ends. You have the main character burning or giving in at the end, and it's what happens next. And you have the same thing in Talk to Me, where like they're going into this dream world or demon world or whatever you think it is, because A24 doesn't like TV context. They're like, you decide what the story's about. And that is the entire element of A24 films. You decide what the story's about. And like that's okay to an extent, but here it's a little bit harder to follow because they don't give you the plot to lead up to it.
Right.
And that's really the main issue I have with this film.
Yeah.
Um, because like I'm not surprised that she ended up at the end of the film with joining the witches. And I mean, and it's a little bit of a talk about society as well, which I think does lend a little more to the story and does make me appreciate it a little more because it lends you to this film of like these women have been through so much and they are constantly being accused of witchcraft. They're constantly being told like they're the demon that's bringing their family down. And so you look at it from a almost a feminism standpoint as opposed to a
Yeah.
historical standpoint, and it's like that's fine. Maybe
No,
tell me more about that.
right.
But
Well, and that's the thing. And that's the thing. I none of the symbols did I have the problem with. Like it wasn't that. Like the oldest daughter who's in charge of the kids and things start going wrong with the kids and she gets blamed for it and her mother hates her because they are so ostracized from society and they even show like at one point they show the brother like kind of looking at her boobs like in a
yeah,
creepy
yeah.
way, but it's this whole like um accidental sexualization of children in
Hmm.
like isolated families and like cults and like you see it it's like very much like the stepmother vibes where like once the older daughter gets pretty like then there's animosity because there can only be one woman being provided for or cared for in a house and like there's a lot of like historical and like um both historical and fairy tale and like literary like things going on there with like feminism and
Right.
with her place in the world. And I'm not mad about any of that, except that once again, there was no like there
Plot.
each there's the symbols of the devil, there's the symbols of the witch trial, there's the
Hmm.
symbols of the occult, there's the symbols of the feminism and like society and isolation. There's all of
Hmm.
these like really important stylistic and symbolic elements. However, not a single one of them has a through line.
Right. Yeah. No, I mean, that's absolutely fair. And I think that's the problem with this being Edgar's first film, is that he really took a big swing and it was a little bit of a miss.
Yeah.
Because, like, I appreciate symbolism in a movie and it's something that I appreciate, like I said about A24. But, like, you have to give me more context. If you're going to talk about the witch trials, talk about the witch trials at this
Right.
point. Like you're leading up to it as the Puritans. If you're talking about the Puritans, focus on the Puritans. You didn't. You put me in the middle where
Yeah.
we've left the Puritans, we're not in the witch trials. Here's this in between
Right.
story.
Right.
And I know like I said, it's about feminism, it's about um Thomason finding her way and breaking free because she's obviously the woman is blamed in the family for anything that goes wrong because at this time they're all witches. Um, and so you just have all these elements, and they want it to be a little more, I guess, obscure than it is too. Like really, Robert Eggers wanted it to be like this obscure, like choose your own ending kind of thing. And it's like,
which is not good. It's great in a book. It's not good in a movie. Like, because
right.
the way you view a movie isn't the same as what the way you read. Like, you don't want that obscurity because then you leave confused.
Yeah, and like the way that he talked about it, he said he designed the film to be interpreted in two ways. Literally, as if the family were besieged by real witches and satanic forces, or figuratively, as if the family has succumbed to a shared psychosis. And that's not what you see in the film.
No,
Like,
never once did psychosis enter into my thought process.
right.
Not
And
once.
it's like he says there's small hints throughout the film that serve as reasonable causes behind the events beyond the obvious supernatural, such as contaminated food causing hallucinations, repressed sexual desires, and extreme isolation. He said it's up to the viewer to decide. But here's the thing, you don't see that because even in like I would say the biggest scene that you might see that in is when the brother is being theoretically possessed or not. And he eventually gives in and says the Lord's Prayer,
Yeah.
and then theoretically goes to God. Um, it's just there's so much that you're like you really scratch the surface. You're
Yeah.
like, here's
Well,
what we could be
and I
talking
will
about, and here's
say
what we're talking about.
the only time I felt like there was like a legitimate plot happening was about the middle of the movie. Basically, that area of the movie. So they Caleb comes back from the woods. They think he's like possessed. He's like freaking out. He's tweaking. He's dying. He's sick. And they start blaming um Thomason.
Mhm.
Thomason works out that like the goat is fucked up. The goat is named Black Phillip. Like it's literally the fucking
Right.
devil. Like the goat is the devil. The kids are talking to the goat, and you see up until that point in the movie that the twins don't makes sense like in
Right.
terms of the way the rest of the family operates. The twins are very like they keep saying all these weird creepy nursery rhymes. They only talk to the goat. They don't help with the farm. They're overweight when everyone else is starving. Like they don't
Hmm.
make sense. And so
Yeah.
when she's like the twins are the evil ones and then they go in they start doing the prayer and the twins can't remember the prayer and like you're like, "Oh my God, like the it's them, like it makes sense, blah blah blah." They confront it, they have that whole scene. The dad freaks out, locks them up in the barn. And then the next thing you know, like there's a different witch and people are talking in dream states and now all the goats are dead. And I was like, what the fuck just happened?
Yeah.
They finally had some semblance of the plot and then they were like, haha, got you.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. And I think that's what differentiates this movie from Midsummer. I really don't want to ruin Midsummer for you, and I really want you to watch it. But that you see like this chaotic plot, similar vibes of chaotic plot, but it never misses. Like while you're watching Midsummer, you're like, I see how we got here, even though it's
Right.
off the walls.
I'm
But
all
with this
for things.
movie,
Yeah, I'm all for
yeah,
things that don't make sense at first. Like Shutter Island is my
totally.
favorite movie. Shutter Island is my favorite movie, and half of Shutter Island is a nonsensical fuckfest
Right,
until you get to the end of the movie and you're like, oh, now I see why that all made sense.
right,
I don't mind. And like I don't mind when it takes a while to get there. However, it has to get there
right.
and this movie never did. And when it
Because
was
it's
when it was about to get there, they said, "Just kidding, that's just another one of these
right.
things." And that is what I think that's the moment when I
Mhm.
realized that I was not going to like the movie. Like I wasn't enjoying it because I don't particularly like babies dying in the first
Sure.
5 minutes of a movie
Well,
I
of
watched.
course, of course.
Um and like but I thought it was beautiful. I was wondering where it was gonna go. I knew it was an A24 film, and like I've heard great things about a
Mhm.
lot of their movies. I thought we were just gonna have a weird like thing. But then when it got to that point where they had finally like strung a plot together and then cut the string, I was like, and I'm done.
Yeah.
I checked
Sorry, my
out.
mic cut out. Um, doop, doop. Sorry.
Every time I like plug my computer in, I have to replug my mic into a different port. Anyways, yeah. So that was, and that's the thing is like, it felt more like Eggers had an agenda,
Yeah.
and he was like, "This is how I want this film to end, so this is how I'm gonna do it." But then he put in all this other shit that was unnecessary,
Yeah.
and it's like, I don't need the twins to be evil if you're not gonna end with the twins being evil.
Right.
Like, I don't need.
I was all for the twins being evil because like that's also a symbolism thing.
Right, absolutely.
And
And
I
I'm
was
like, I
like,
don't need the parents blaming Thomason if the parents aren't gonna make it till the end of the movie. Like, I don't know. It was just it was a lot that was like, you
yeah.
set this up how you wanted it to be, you ended it how you wanted it to be, and in the middle you just guessed on
Yeah.
what should happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was very frustrating because they did a lot of really good things and it just
There
it
were a lot of
couldn't
misses.
yeah, it became incoherent because
Yeah,
they tried too many things.
right.
It's like
Yeah,
when
I
you
100%
like
agree.
it's when people say like you throw spaghetti at the wall and see what sticks, only
Yeah.
they took the stuff off the floor and put it in the movie too.
Correct. Yeah. No, I 100% agree with that. Yeah, well, I do have some trivia for you.
Great.
Um, so obviously the spelling is different because it's two V's instead of a W. Um, the reason I did not fact check this, so tell me linguistically if I'm wrong. But the spelling is because they say the W wasn't invented in 1630 yet in
That's good.
this language. And so
Um,
it was
uh,
Ianchen. Did I write down the name of that language? Ianchen?
um, I don't know.
It was very particular. Um, and I meant to write it down. I don't think I did. That's not what I typed in. Thank you though.
Um, so yeah, I don't know what language that is. Um, because
Ina Chan. It was the mystical language revealed to be Elizabeth and occultist John Dee and his assistant Edward Kelly. Um, the critically endangered language of Nigeria, is what they used. And that is what all the witches were theoretically speaking. That's what they were meant to be speaking. And so they said at this time that
which
it was.
okay.
This is
While
what I love that you're a linguist.
while there is some question about the origins of the languages that the witches may or may not have been speaking that they were chanting that um like caused part of the witch trial scares, particularly because like Tituba is a real person, like
Right.
that stuff. Like we know that the African American slaves or servants at the time brought an influenced language. However, the Puritans at the
Hmm.
time would not have been speaking that language. And the mother in the movie specifically says she wants to go back home to
Hmm.
England. The Anglo-Saxon and Germanic languages started using a W in the 7th century. So that is before
Oh, that's way
16. That's
earlier.
way
Yeah.
earlier than the 1600s. They did often in transition write it as two V's, but by the 1600s it would not have been two V's anymore.
Interesting.
And if they were leaning toward this mystical witchcraft Nigerian language.
Hmm.
It would have helped had they had a single person of color in the movie or any actual language
Right.
spoken by the witches, but they didn't. The witches never spoke. The only people who spoke were the puritanical colonists from Anglo-Saxon England, where they used W's correctly. So the logic of the spelling of the movie is asinine.
So they also said that they had two reasons for why this movie
Okay.
had two of these. The other one is that it stood for Virgo Virginum, which was theoretically in the 16th, 17th century to ward off evil. It was carved into like homes and windows and doors and
That
stuff.
might be true. That might be true because
Okay.
they did have a lot of superstitions on how to ward off
Yeah.
evil and if they were using two V's as in the Latin phrase that could have warded off evil, that's fine. But
Yeah.
again, not communicated in the film.
Mm-mm, mm-mm. No, you wouldn't know that from the film itself.
Right, like both of those reasons may have some legitimacy in history. However,
Sure.
they're both not actually connected to this movie.
Right. Right. Yeah, which is honestly the biggest issue with everything. Um,
Like,
so my next
listen,
fact,
no, Roger Ebert is all about history. He would make a
Eggers
Eggers, sorry, whatever. Roger Ebert gives thumbs up.
is the yeah.
Um, he he would make a really great indie documentarian.
Yeah, and that's where he started. He wanted to do documentaries, and that
Well,
makes way more sense. Everyone,
way more sense.
that was a lot of the biggest comments on this film and some of his others was he doesn't need to do these fictional films. He needs to go into documentaries. Like,
Uh-huh.
I don't know why he's writing movies.
No, because
Yeah.
using language straight from journals, talking about this deep cut
Hmm.
historical information, great. But don't make it a horror movie if that's what you wanted people to get out of
Right.
it. Like,
And
like
like,
there's a way to do it and a way not to, but if you want to teach history, do a documentary. If you want to
right,
use deep symbolism to like teach societal facts, do a more modern allegorical
right.
story that people can understand. Like nobody watched Get Out and didn't know what they were supposed to be telling you.
Correct.
Like,
Like Jordan Peele is one of the better ones. And I'll say like I don't like Mexican horror. It's not my favorite. I love foreign horror, not Mexican usually. But
yeah,
Guillermo del Toro does an excellent job of
correct.
using symbolism and storytelling and history
Which is
all
actually
together.
why I'm really, really curious. I've never really been excited about a Guillermo del Toro fan. I'm like movie, I'm not like I don't mind up for
Yeah.
them. I'm so curious to watch Frankenstein.
I know. I
Because
didn't realize he was doing Frankenstein until like last week. Like I'm so behind the
but
times.
but
I don't know when they
but
announced it, but I didn't know till last
yeah,
week.
but his use of symbolism and that story's use of
Yeah.
symbolism, I I've
I
never
know.
been like I've never been like shaking in my boots to see a Guillermo del Toro movie, but I gotta see Frank. Well, and also my kiddos, my seniors, were about to start reading Frankenstein this week.
Oh, amazing. I've never,
Oh,
I've never read it. Um,
I'm
but
s-
I joined a Discord that's 12 classics in 12 months. So theoretically, I'm gonna go back and read some of the classics I
well,
haven't read.
listen, if you want to read Frankenstein like coming up soon,
Okay.
I can like because I'll be teaching it in the next month or two, so like well I'll be going like deep stuff. So if you have questions
Let
and
me
shit.
see. Let me go to Libby and see if I can find it. But yeah,
Oh,
I love
it's a classic, so it should be on Kindle Unlimited.
oh, surely. I pay for Kindle Unlimited. Yeah, I really want to read more classics because I do love like I love the romances. I know we argue about Wuthering Heights, their new movie. But
But that's not
I'm
because I
ready
don't
for
love
it.
Wuthering Heights, it's because I don't think that movie is Wuthering Heights.
I know. It's not gonna be, and I'm gonna love it, and you're gonna hate it. It just is what it is.
Well, and
Um,
but that's my fear is I see things like that and I watch things like when we rewatched Rebecca, when we watched the new version of Rebecca on the podcast, and I was like, oh,
yeah,
like,
I still haven't read that book. I need to go read Rebecca still too. Um,
girl, you're killing me.
I know every day I kill you. So some more facts I have.
Yes.
Some of the symbolism used is, of course, a hare. A hare appears frequently in the film,
Yep.
and in colonial New England, hares were considered magical creatures in their own right. They were often associated with witches, either as a milk hare, which stole or spoiled milk from the farm animals, or the witch themselves, who were thought able to turn into a hare in order to spy on the influence of people. And so we have obviously a lot of hares in this film, and we have it seems to me I didn't know prior to this film how frequently hares were used
Mm,
in witch folklore, I guess.
yeah.
Um, because it feels very much like a familiar. I
It
did just
I
read
do
a
think
book
I was like
about
I do find that hares are in traditional like old like pagan lore, they're very like connected to witches. They kind of got phased out because they don't give the same like spooky girl vibe that crows and
as
black
a
cats do.
yeah,
Like,
of
and so they've
course.
gotten phased out in the storytelling aspect of it because they don't fit the goth girl vibe the same way. But
Right.
but particularly in areas where, like in wooded areas, you were much more likely to run into a stray hare than you were a stray cat.
Okay.
Like, and in farms, there was a lot of like, yeah, like you said about like the milk hares, like rabbits showing up randomly and then your food going bad, which probably
Yeah,
had to
I
do with,
think.
which probably in all actual science probably had to do with the fact that hares are related to rodents and rodents carry disease, but that's like
Oh, sure.
um
Yeah, of course. I
but
didn't even think of that.
right, but
I think I read about. I don't know if it was the Honey Witch or the Nature of Witches, but I've just recently, within the past couple months, read a book and a lot of hares were popping up, and I was like, I don't know what's going on, but this makes way more
yes.
sense now
Yeah,
that
no.
I know a little more.
Yes. But also like that's where you get a lot of things like the lore of a rabbit's foot being lucky. It
Yes.
yeah,
Oh, that makes
it
sense.
comes down to like you caught the witch. You caught the witch and cut the foot off. So she can't
Never in my
mess with
life.
yeah.
Never in my life. That
Yeah.
makes so much sense.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I mean, I haven't had a lucky rabbit's foot since I was what, 12?
Right, because
Um,
we were like really
when
cool
I went to
in
the
the like the
beach.
2000s. We were like really cool in
Yeah,
the 2000s. We had
with my
our hot pink fake rabbit foot like hanging on our chain.
and my puka shell necklace.
Stupid. But yes, no.
I know, I know.
The actual lore
Yeah,
of the luck of a rabbit's foot has to do with like catching the witch.
that makes a lot of sense. Well, and that's why it was used so frequently in this film. Also, fun fact, which is a little bit shocking to me, but not terribly. This film was shot in 25 days.
Okay.
That is
Good.
less than a month. And
Yeah.
I know sometimes like because so he used also a different film. So he used what was it, 1.85?
Okay.
One, I think is the one he used. He talked about two different ones, and I can't remember exactly
Mm.
which one he used. But because it was able to catch a wider view, to catch the whole family in one
Yeah.
scene, and to do all these different things. And so like it makes me think of I don't know if you ever watched the film 1912, um, the military film.
I haven't,
Okay.
but I've heard amazing things, and I've heard a
Yeah.
lot of the one shots in that movie are like legendary.
Yes, absolutely. So I'm not a military film girl. That's not my
Mhm.
vibe.
Yeah.
I went saw 1912 in theaters and it rocked my world.
All
Like
right.
the directing, then the filmography, like the movie itself is fine. It's a military film.
Yeah.
But the filmography, incredible. And that
Oh,
is what I felt like this film did. In the way it shot the film. And it had so many dark elements. And I know I told you before we watched it to watch it somewhere you could watch dark movies. And so I did watch it in my library so I could actually see the scenes that happened.
yeah. I
Um,
mean, I just watched it in my living room, but I have a good TV and a great
yeah,
guitar.
my TV in my living room is not good for that. So I had to watch it in my library. But it did have a really good um view, I guess, and like there were a
No,
lot of
like
dark scenes, but they were really well shot.
yeah, there
Um,
was even in most of the dark scenes, I was pretty aware of what was going on. Like even though they were
yeah,
dark, they were like the parts that you were supposed to be seeing made
yeah.
sense.
And because of the way it was shot, it felt very much like a one-shot film. And so like I when I read that it was 25 days, I wasn't super surprised. It's
Right.
just not a
Yeah.
common element used. Like normally it takes a few months, like it's
Yeah.
not really quick. But so I wasn't as surprised I thought it would be those 25 days. Um so yeah, as I mentioned, it was based on Salem witch trials. That was his point of historical reference, which happened between 1692 and 1693. 30 people were found guilty. This was set 62 years before, which I said was about 1630. And the whole the whole idea that we didn't see, but was technically there, is that the reason they were banished was for prideful deceit. Because William thought that he knew better about the Puritan ways than the Puritans did. And that's why they were actually banished. And we didn't see that. We know that it was because of religious differences, but we
Um,
didn't get that he thought he was
I kind of got that from
okay.
what he was saying at the beginning, but I don't think it was done. But I also like because then it never came back, it wasn't like a
Right.
this makes sense.
See, and I feel like I really missed that in the beginning. Like I felt
Okay.
like I was just like they have religious differences. I don't know why. Like,
Um,
because I felt like he didn't have a
just
better view.
just so you know, I just looked up movies, like a list of the shortest amount of time it took to film movies, just to see, because there's some
Mhm.
crazy shit of like things that were made in like
Absolutely,
one
yeah.
day. But both Get Out and Napoleon Dynamite only took 23 days to film.
The best movies on the planet.
Correct.
I'm a Jordan Peele stan. I haven't seen him yet, but I just watched Sinners for the first time, and
I'm terrified to
rock
watch
star.
Sinners. I'm tired.
Don't be. Let me tell you, it's not.
No, can I tell you why I'm terrified?
Yes,
I'm
yes.
terrified because for the first like 2 months that it was being advertised, I had no concept about what the movie was about.
Right. I was gonna
And,
say you have no
and I
idea what
have
the movie's
no
about.
idea what the movie was about. And then once I started finding out things that the movie was about, I was like, I don't want to see Haley like that.
Oh, you're gonna love Haley like that. She's still my favorite character in the movie. Like,
Oh, yeah.
I definitely recommend it. Have a date night with Dan. He'll love it.
Will he? Will
Um, no,
he?
I really do recommend it. It's really well done. And I think it's one of the last ones that Jordan Peele was actually like super involved in because I didn't realize till later that he was the producer on it, not necessarily the writer or
Mm,
director. He's
okay.
just the production company on it, so it's a little bit different. But I haven't watched it yet. But yeah,
I've heard good things about it
Sinners.
though.
I have to. I've heard really good things about it. But Sinners is not what you think it is, and it's not going to be what you thought it was when you finished it either. So
Okay.
I think you should watch it. It's not scary. It is really well done.
Okay.
You and Dan can watch it. Okay.
It's very bloody and sexy though, and I don't know if he can watch that.
It's not as much as you think it is.
Okay.
It's not as much as you think it is.
Okay.
Everything I thought about the movie was wrong
Okay.
before going in. I'll tell you that.
Okay.
Um, I mean, it of course has some blood because obviously,
Right.
but but it's not nearly what you think it is.
Okay.
Um, this was fun fact, Anya Taylor-Joy's debut film. I I think someone told me that a long time ago, and I didn't realize it. Because we've
That's
now watched her in Last Night in Soho, which is obviously very different.
yeah.
And you haven't seen the menu still, right?
No, but I love her in The Queen's Gambit.
Right, and I didn't watch The Queen's Gambit yet. Um, but this was
And
the first film she was in.
I haven't watched Emma yet either, but I really, really want to.
Oh, I loved Emma. Oh,
The one, the
I
one
saw it in
with the one
theaters.
with her in
Yeah, I
2020.
saw it in
Oh,
theaters.
okay.
I loved it. I haven't read Emma yet, but I
Uh,
watched the movie,
and
which
then
is wild because I love Jane Austen. So
I mean, my favorite Anya Taylor-Joy role is obviously as Princess Peach in the Mario movie, but
of course, what it's nothing's better, nothing's better. No, but I think this was a very different role for her, but also kind of the similar, which is a weird take. I feel like,
yeah,
but she's so good in weird horror.
yeah.
Like,
I mean, I like when I tell you last night in Soho, I mean, we've talked about the actual
yeah,
movie on the podcast as a podcast episode, but we've also talked a million times just about that movie.
sure.
I had no clue what to expect, didn't want to watch it, like, because at the time when it first came out was not. And my dad, who does not watch horror movies, watched it because Matt Smith and Anya Taylor-Joy were in it, and he watched it
Yes. Oh.
and he watched it on a plane, and then came home, got off the plane, and immediately told me, "Go watch that movie right now." It is it's weird horror.
Hmm.
It's she plays such a weird character in that movie, and it is
Hmm.
so fucking good.
She is such an iconic weird horror
Yeah.
film person that nobody talks about enough. Like, I mean,
I
I
know.
get she's very popular. It's not that people don't know who she is,
Yeah.
but like she is so good at this very niche role and this very
Mhm.
niche idea because she plays a different character in every movie she's in.
It's because her eyes are too vertical.
But she is so good
She's
at the roles
she
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 does.
is she is like stunningly beautiful, and
She is, yes.
she is, but she's one of my favorite people because she is
Hmm.
stunningly beautiful, despite the fact that if you actually look at like her facial features, she's not like that's not what a human face is supposed
Yeah,
to look like. And
right.
somehow she is prettier than I will ever be.
So I would like to recommend that you and Dan do a double feature movie date night and watch Sinners followed by the menu. Watch the menu second. Um, but it's got Ralph Fiennes. and
Mhm.
it's got Anya Taylor-Joy. And both of them really stand out. And I know I don't think I've seen Ralph Fiennes. I haven't seen Ralph Fiennes in anything but Harry Potter.
Oh, really?
Is that right? Did we see his brother in something? What did we see
Yes.
that Fiennes was in? That
Um,
was his brother, right?
Joseph, yeah, Joseph Fiennes was in one of the Hannibal movies.
Right.
Um,
So I haven't
but
seen
no,
Ralph
but
Fiennes.
you've not seen The English Patient. You've not seen the Schindler's List. Like
I haven't seen Schindler's List. Don't tell anyone. Um,
he's he plays the fiance in Made in Manhattan.
oh, I've seen Made in Manhattan. I
Oh
haven't
no
seen
no no!
Schindler's
It
List,
was
but I've
him.
seen Made in
No, I'm sorry.
Manhattan.
It was him. It wasn't his brother. It was him in Red Dragon. I'm looking at his credits.
Okay. So I saw him in that. But he is like such a standout role in this film, and I
He also plays
really,
Moses in The Prince of Egypt.
oh, okay, that's animated.
Yeah.
How was I to know? How was I to know? Um, but I will tell you, The Menu is such an underrated film. I know a lot of people talk about it. I know a lot of people like it. It didn't win any awards as far as I know, like other than, you know, traditional. Award shows are such scam. But
Yeah.
I cannot stop talking about that movie. I've watched it multiple times with multiple people, and every time it gets me. So I want you to have a double feature date night with Dan where you watch Sinners and then The Menu.
Okay.
Um, and I think you're gonna love it because there's gore in both, but not more than we saw in Hannibal or anything. So like you'll
Okay.
be fine. Like no eyeball stuff.
The most mainstream thing that movie, The Menu, was like nominated for was that Anya Taylor-Joy and Ray Fiennes were both
Yeah.
nominated for Golden Globes, but they both lost.
Yeah, which is a travesty. That
Who
was
who won that year?
someone who didn't deserve it. I'm like, that is one of my favorite movies of all time. It is so unhinged and one of my favorite movies of all time.
Oh, no, I wouldn't say that it's someone who didn't deserve it. Colin Farrell won for the Banshees of Inisherin,
Okay. I do know
Inisherin.
people who worked on that.
and
So,
and Michelle Yeoh won for Everything Everywhere All at
oh
Once.
God,
So,
bless.
okay,
Okay.
to
Okay.
be fair, they're phenomenal, but I don't necessarily think that they
Yeah.
lost like poorly. It was
My
a
friend
pretty
was an editor on Banshees of
okay, it
Innisfree.
was a pretty stacked category because Colin Farrell won, but it was Diego Calva in Babylon, Daniel Craig in Glass Onion,
Oh
Adam
God.
Driver in White Noise, and Ray Fine. Like that was the
To be
five.
fair, I love Glass Onion, don't get me wrong. And Daniel Craig is an icon. That's just a fun movie. That's not meant to win
Well,
a
yes,
Golden Globe.
but it was listed. This is the category for musical or comedy. The,
Yeah, but it's not like an iconic film. It's
yeah.
just a fun
And
film.
then Anya Taylor-Joy was up against obviously Michelle Yeoh, and then Leslie Mansfield in Mrs.
Oh
Harris Goes to
God.
Paris, Margot Robbie in Babylon, and Emma Thompson in Good Luck to You, Leo Grand.
Okay. Oh yeah,
So
that's fair.
so
That's okay. I retake that.
it was a
That
very
was
stacked category.
for sure. For sure. Fair. Fair. I mean, truly. I need you to watch the menu before we record again because I need to talk to you about it. So add that to your list this week.
Oh,
You're off on Friday. Go watch it on Friday.
I'm not off on Friday. I'm only off
What
Friday
day are you
morning.
off?
I'm off tomorrow.
Go
But
watch it tomorrow.
no, I have to grade papers because report cards are due on Wednesday.
Lame. Okay.
I know.
Anyways, so
Now that
now I'm gonna
we've,
tell you.
I was like, now that this episode's an hour and a half long.
It's okay. I don't have much left. I don't have much left. I have a few different facts, and that's pretty much it. So one of the things is we've kind of mentioned it, but in Basque mythology, the Black Goat is commonly known figure related to the devil. Obviously, so we've got Black Phillip. The magical encounter between witches is called Akelar, which is Basque means meadow of the goat. Francisco de Goya painted about witches and a black goat in 1798 called El Aquilar, the term which was popularly spread with the God bless Zucaramarty witches burning process during the Spanish Inquisition in 1610, just a few years before the Salem's one. In that judgment, some Basque women were found guilty for being witches and for participating in satanic rituals similar to the one appearing in the movie, and were burned alive. So we've always had the goat. I mean, we know from
Hmm.
multiple pop cultural references, the goat is known as the devil. Um, do you know
Yeah.
more about that? Do you have more
No,
comments about that?
so oh, sorry, no, I went to like pull up like Black Phillip just to like talk about the name. But did you know that the goat that played Black Phillip was so horrible to work with after that movie that
That's
he
my
then
dad's
got
fact.
kicked out of show business? Because I just saw that and that is the funniest
Yeah.
thing I've ever seen.
So
Um,
that is my next fact is that he was so ill-trained that he was Robert Eggers came out and said he was the hardest person to work with on set. And the scene between him and William where he kills William was actually not what was meant to happen, but it just is how he attacked him. And so they were like, we just filmed it. It was what it was. Like that was not scripted.
yeah, so the symbol of the goat is also the symbol of Baphomet, um,
Oh
which
yeah.
which is a demon, um,
Yeah.
and it has goes all the way back to the Knights Templar and like demonic accusations within the Knights Templar. It is the goat head is currently the symbol of the religion of Satanism.
Right.
Like the black goat is always been connected um to that and I wanna why I'm looking for like there was something that I was looking for specifically but I can't find it about like why oh that's the painting that you were just talking about.
Yeah. I will tell you, like, in pop culture references, I will say one of the better ones I think that describes the like satanic rituals and stuff and talks about the goat being like the icon for satanic
Yeah,
rituals is Sabrina. And I didn't enjoy that show. I had a
oh,
hard time keeping up with it. I want to go
like
back and
no
try to
wait
rewatch it.
the chilling adventures are like the original
Yes,
Sabrina.
The
Oh,
Chilling
okay
Adventures.
I was like
The original is not as satanic.
no.
Not at all. But I do think they did a really good job of like talking about satanic rituals and talking
Yeah.
about like the goat as an icon and stuff. I had a really hard time. I really this is hot take. I really hate the girl who plays Sabrina. I didn't like
Yeah.
her in Mad Men. I don't like her in Sabrina. I
Yeah.
wish she would get up acting.
Can I tell you, I just want to share this story. This is the wildest thing that I have ever known. And
Of course.
I think it's why the symbolism of the goats just sticks in my head so well.
Yeah.
So there is a part of the Bible in Revelation where they talk about God coming back. And
Mm-hmm.
it specifically says that when God comes back, he will come to the world to separate the goats from the lambs, which is why
Hmm.
the idea of goats um, as evil, like what that's it's straight biblical. That's where that
Yeah.
idea comes from.
I
Like,
haven't read Revelation since I was a child, so I didn't know
which is a
that.
terrible thing to read as a child, but
It is. It was
but
no. My older
there
cousin read it to me.
but so that is like straight biblical goats representing evil. It goes all the way back to that. But there was a man who lived in Niagara Falls. His name was the prophet Isaiah. Um, I don't know if that was legally his name, but that was legally his name. Um,
Sure.
he everybody in the city knew him. He decorated his house in the most wild way. Like if you Google Niagara Falls Prophet Isaiah house, you will see this picture. Like it is like a legitimate thing.
Mhm.
Um, and one of the things that he said in his uh
The Second Coming house?
yeah,
Right. Wow, that is colorful.
yeah.
Okay.
Do you love how like that literally it's the first thing that comes up?
It makes me think of Philadelphia.
Was
Is
that?
that a it makes me think of Philadelphia.
Yeah, but this was like 3 blocks away from where I grew up.
Amazing.
Um,
Amazing.
but one of the reasons why he did this and was like so sure that the second coming was going to happen in his lifetime in this city was because he truly and honestly believed that the reason that Goat Island in Niagara Falls was named such was that
Yeah.
all of the separation of the goats and the lambs, all of the people that were goats would be forced onto Goat Island and it would be taken over the falls and down to the depths of hell.
Interesting.
Um, and so this symbolism of goats being related to the devil has just been like burned in my brain my entire life
That's
because this
amazing.
is where I grew up.
I love that. I'm a little jealous. I didn't have that same upbringing.
I don't
Um,
know that anyone should be jealous of that.
I am though. I am though. I grew up in the Bible Belt, so I had a lot very different upbringing.
Fair, fair.
Obviously.
Yeah,
Mm,
there's something very different in the Southern Bible Belt. Well, and also where you lived in particular, because like,
yeah. A
well,
small town, country town.
and small town, country town, primarily white.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because my relationship with Southern Christians is with like North Carolina, Georgia,
Oh, okay. Very different
black
people.
Christians, and a lot of the people in Niagara Falls,
We're very white. My hometown's
yeah,
very
and
racist. It's unfortunate.
a lot of people in Niagara Falls, um, are transplants from the like Black Bible
Oh,
Belt,
interesting. I didn't
which
realize that.
um it's because it's easier to get on welfare there than it is in the South.
Oh, look.
Like legitimately, I have a friend who moved there from
Yeah.
Alabama because she could get on welfare easier. But we do have a lot
I
of
will say my aunt who's disabled, who she gets like $12 a month from welfare and she's disabled and can't work. Like
yeah,
it's wild.
yeah.
So
But
it's tougher out here.
yeah, but yeah, so the we do have a lot of transplants, so like we have a very booming like African Episcopal like Methodist. Like we have a lot of AME churches
Same.
here. And so like
Yeah.
it's a big
I used to
yeah.
play music for a Methodist church. That was
Like the
in college.
African Methodist Church does consider themselves different than the Methodist Church. Like they
Oh,
are a
for sure, of
separate
course.
denomination, and we have a lot of those here.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Everyone here is like Italian Catholic or African Methodist. Like
Interesting. That's
it's
such a wild
it's a
discrepancy. Like that's
wild,
so wild.
yeah.
Yeah. No, that's
So
totally
it's
fair.
a very strange interpretation of the Bible I grew up with.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Wild. Yeah. We just all are forced to believe what they tell us to believe, or we're heathens. So I'm a heathen, obviously. Um, I mean, I have questions.
How dare you?
I know. What a life. I have a couple more facts for you, and then we'll wrap up. But Stephen King came out and said this movie terrified him. And here's the thing. I get it from a humanistic perspective of like you're looking at this as feminism, you're looking at this as the witch trials burned women because they were women, not because they were witches.
Yeah.
And like if you really think hard, and I know he's a creative, so you get a little bit farther in than most people. Um,
What I think happened is that this movie made a decent amount of money and people liked it. And as an author, he was so terrified by the fact that you could make a film with that little of a plot that he was like, I'm out of a job.
well, he hated all his films, so he didn't like it. He didn't like a lot of the films of stuff he wrote, so he was like, "This is it." I mean, nowadays he doesn't do anything and makes money. He's the co-writer on all of his books that he doesn't actually participate in. Um, so
I mean,
good for
isn't that
him.
the
That's the
goal
dream.
though? Isn't that the goal to
I was
be
gonna say that's the dream.
like
Like,
the dream to be James Patterson or Stephen King, to be so good for so
correct.
long that you don't have to do it
You
anymore.
don't have to do anything. You just put your name on something and people sell it for millions.
Yeah.
Oh God. Um, so as I mentioned, this was Anya Taylor-Joy's first role, and she also obviously had a nude scene at the very end with the witches circle and
Yeah.
whatnot. However, they did have a body double. There were a lot of body doubles in these nudity scenes. But
Well,
it seems
but
that Robert
also
Eggers. Go ahead.
I was gonna say also it was pretty obvious that they had body doubles for a lot of them because a lot of the witch scenes, the naked witches, weren't the same shape as the clothed witches.
Correct. But apparently Robert Eggers has been known for this. He does a lot of nude scenes throughout his films, but everyone else does their own scenes because they're adults. So we had like Robert Pattinson did his own scenes in the lighthouse. I can't remember who the star is of Northmen, but Northmen did their own scenes, like stuff
Mm.
like that. Tends to be a recurring theme in Eggers films. Um,
He can't film television, but he can film a naked body.
Correct. So one of the like wildly, depending on how you feel, misconceptions or facts is that witches are not like they can't say the Lord's Prayer, which is a very wildly debated topic.
Yeah.
Um, because they say like it's the same thing with demons. They say the demons can't say Lord's Prayer, which we talked a little bit about in the exorcism stuff. Because obviously we had like some of the demons came out and said that it just meant like they were a little bit stronger to say the Lord's Prayer.
Right.
Um, but it's so wildly renowned that they can't, that's why Eggers used it in this film. When we had
Right.
specifically the Caleb scene whenever he was
Yeah.
passing away.
Well, but the other thing is, that is a weird thing, because I'll be honest, again, with complaints about this film, a lot of it was not about witchcraft. It was about
Right.
demonology.
Hmm.
Like the Satan, like the goat representing Satan, the not being able to say the Lord's Prayer, like the sacrificing babies in the woods, like that it was very, very mixed symbolism. It was a lot of demonology masquerading as witchcraft.
Right, which is very strange because Eggers focused so much on this being representative of and a story about the witch trials of Salem, but then he focused so hard on demonology that it
Right.
was
It was because it felt more like his actual goal was to critique the puritanical
right.
culture, which
Hmm.
is
Which it was,
which it
but
was, and that is valid, but the movie wasn't about witches.
mm-mm, mm-mm. And
So,
I think that's one of the things A24 does is they're like, this isn't about this, but we're gonna end this with them being a witch and then say the entire review is about it. Because we have the family obviously accusing Anya Taylor-Joy of being a witch throughout the film. And she's like, I'm really not, I'm really not, I'm really not. But because she's pressured so much in this way, the end of the film is her
yeah.
becoming a witch, signing the devil's book, going with Black Phillip, etc., etc. Um, and so it makes it about witches. And it's like, that's not the story you told. Like, you ended up there, but that's not the story we told. And
Right.
you can't say this is a Salem Trials story without giving me more background.
Yeah.
And I think that's where we have a lot of issues that pop up here, obviously. Um, I read a lot. So I looked through a lot of reviews, and honestly, the reviews were most reviews said this is a horror film that's not scary, which is wild because then you have people like Stephen King being like, "This is the most horrified I've ever been."
Yeah.
I did take one because Metacritic came out and said it was 84 out of 100. It really did have really high ratings on the critic scores overall. But the only one that I
Yeah.
really felt like defined this film was the Philadelphia Inquirer. And they said The Witch is a stressful movie to watch, and that's meant it's the highest praise. I don't like that's that's really sweet of you.
That's
Like
people are
it's
sometimes I find that I can't read reviews because
yeah,
I feel that many film critics are just circle jerking artists. Like
every time, all the time. Yeah.
it's not accurate.
Hmm. Hmm.
Like I have read reviews of things and then watched the movie and been like, did we watch the
These are not the
same
same thing.
movie?
Hmm.
And I find that specifically with like these more indie films, like this being
For
his
sure.
first movie in the early beginnings of A24, there is a sense of like praising the risk
Hmm.
without understanding what actually the
Which
product
I'll
is.
say, I get behind the risk. I want new stuff. I want new films.
Yeah, but
But you have to be truthful about what you say
right,
is
but
the risk. And
don't review it as if it was a successful risk. Like
right.
take the risk, praise
And
the
then take the
artistry.
fall.
Yeah, take the
Like,
risk, praise the artistry, but don't I don't know,
yeah,
don't shove it your face that far up someone's ass. Like it's just
right.
not.
100%. Yeah. No, I totally feel the same way. Um, yeah, but I mean, that was this film. Our Salem Witch Trials horror film for May 24th. Do you have any final thoughts about it?
Um, I would just like to go back in time to before I watched it.
I know. I'm really upset to say I'm really bummed that I watched this because I've
Yeah.
heard it hyped up so much and I
We
really want
had
it to be
such
good.
high hopes. We had such high hopes
Yeah. And like and
and
I think the part from like writing, like I understand what they wanted to do and I
right.
understand that they missed it. And I don't know what
Right.
to do about
And
that.
like listen, is it anywhere near as bad as Exorcist Believer?
Oh my God, no, absolutely
No.
not. Yeah.
No.
Yeah, this is not
But
the worst film we've watched by any means,
by
but
any means, but it's also not
it missed
great.
a lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think it's hard when you really focus on a historical point and you really make your name to be like, I only do historical facts. I only incorporate that into my horror. And then you do something like this and it's like, you kind of missed the mark, but like I haven't watched any of the other Eggers films, obviously, so I don't know if he hit the mark on the other ones.
Yeah.
And this was his first one, so I don't blame him. I don't, I
Right.
don't hate him, but like at the same time, I can tell you this one it for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, well, on that note, this is the end, and I will tell you, I don't know if you watched all of the times I posted on our social media because no one wanted to comment in a way that made it equal. We just kept having 50-50
I
on my
literally
polls that I
didn't see
posted.
any of the polls. I like
That's so
never.
funny. I got a lot of 50-50, so I just had to keep moving from different social media platforms. So our next show, are you ready for the reveal?
I don't know.
You are. You're gonna be stoked. It is Penny Dreadful.
Oh, I am stoked. Okay.
I know, I know. So our next show is pretty dreadful. I've ordered the DVD. It's coming out on Wednesday, so I'll be ready to record next week. Um,
Where can I watch it? Prime.
it
Okay.
is Prime. Yes, it's on Prime currently. It used to be only on Showtime, but it is currently on Prime. It just got added to Prime within the last month or two, so we should be good for the next year.
Okay.
Usually that's how licensing works, is you're good
Yeah.
for a year. We will you know, discuss further if needed, if it gets removed
Yeah.
after a year from Prime. But it's been awesome for so long that I think we should be okay.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, so our next show is gonna be Penny Dreadful, which we've been talking about for ages.
I know.
Um,
We keep kept talking about it and then other things happen and it never happened.
I know
But
it was only on Showtime for a while, so it was hard to
yeah.
like want to watch it, but now it's pretty accessible for everyone, so it should be good. And I mean, look at me, Josh Hartnett. I'm a 90s girl through and through, so I'm excited about that. He aged like fine, for anyone that was wondering. Except in Trap. Don't watch him in Trap. That was a wild film. Did you watch that movie?
No.
It was M. Night Shyamalan's, but it was basically just to introduce that his daughter can sing. It was wild. Um, but Josh Hartnett's the lead. He plays the dad in that. It's wild. Anyway, so our show's gonna be pretty dreadful, so stay tuned for that. We will start on that next week. And I think it's been really fun. There's a lot of literary references that fall under it, and we obviously have a lot of history to talk about with Penny Dreadfuls as a genre. I can't wait. In the meantime, if you want to talk to us, whether about a past show we've done, about a new show we're doing, neither of us watch Penny Dreadful, so don't no spoilers, but please email us, deathandaliens@gmail.com. You can find us on all of the social media at Death and Aliens, and you can find me at CECloud13.
And you can find me everywhere at EMKAY_superstar.
And we see you on Sunday for the mid-season premiere of Stargate SG-1.
Bye.
Bye!